Hello everyone, welcome to the U.S. Immigration. Breaking news. A wave of anxiety is sweeping through immigrant communities across the United States tonight as a major policy shift from the Trump administration sends shockwaves through thousands of families, workers, and employers nationwide. The federal government has officially slashed work permit validity from 5 years down to just 18 months, triggering deep uncertainty among refugees, asylees, green card applicants, and tens of thousands of skilled workers who depend on uninterrupted employment authorization to support their lives in America. This is one of the most consequential immigration actions of the year, and its immediate impact is already being felt from coast to coast. Before we dive into the full details, you're watching U.S. Immigration Hub, and if you rely on accurate, fast, professional immigration updates, the new USCIS policy dramatically shortens the lifespan of employment authorization documents, reducing the previous 5-year validity to a maximum of 18 months. That means immigrants who once had years of stability will now have to reapply and undergo security checks far more frequently. The agency says the purpose of this change is to allow officials to vet applicants more often, citing elevated national security concerns and what they describe as the need for stronger fraud detection across multiple immigration categories. USCIS leadership has publicly stated that shorter work authorization periods are necessary to prevent individuals with harmful intent from remaining in the country long enough to pose threat. Officials argue that by conducting more frequent background checks, the agency can quickly identify applicants who may be involved in criminal activity, terrorism-related risks, or immigration fraud schemes. Joseph Edlow, the current director of USCIS, emphasized the importance of increased screening, referencing a recent high-profile attack on National Guard service members in Washington, D.C. According to Edlow, the individual responsible had been admitted under previous immigration policies, which he believes demonstrated the need for tighter review procedures. His statement underscores how national security events continue to influence immigration policy under the Trump administration. In a separate announcement that arrived late Friday, USCIS confirmed the creation of a specialized screening unit based in Atlanta. This new unit will focus exclusively on identifying individuals who may be linked to terrorism, organized crime, or significant immigration fraud. The agency says this effort will strengthen its ability to detect high-risk applicants early in the process, preventing them from obtaining benefits or entering the workforce. This expansion of enforcement capabilities is being framed as a major step forward in safeguarding public safety, though it represents yet another tightening of immigration systems already under significant pressure. While supporters of the administration say this move boosts security, immigration attorneys across the country are sounding alarms about the timing and consequences of this decision. Many experts warn that reducing EAD validity could disrupt stability for thousands of families, especially for Indian immigrants who make up one of the largest groups in the employment-based green card backlog. These individuals often wait years, sometimes more than a decade, for their green card applications to move forward. During this long waiting period, work permits serve as their only legal authorization to remain employed. A shorter validity period means more frequent renewals, more paperwork, and more opportunities for delays or processing problems. According to attorneys, this shift will hit several categories of green card applicants, particularly hard. Investors applying for green cards through the EB-5 program will now need to navigate more frequent renewals while their I-526 petitions remain pending. Parents and spouses of U.S. citizens who are adjusting status inside the United States will also experience greater uncertainty. And for skilled workers transitioning from temporary visas like the H-1B to permanent residency, this policy will add layers of complexity to an already slow and challenging process. Attorney Kippa Upadhyay of Buchalter IUS law firm, which handles immigration cases nationwide, has described the change as, honestly, deeply concerning for Indian nationals in particular. She notes that, many Indian professionals depend on timely EAD approvals just to keep their jobs while waiting for their priority dates to become current, with processing times often unpredictable and, prone to delays. A shorter employment authorization window, she says, significantly increases the risk of job interruption. Appidier warns that individuals who fail to renew their permits early enough could find themselves suddenly unable to work, jeopardizing their income, their status, and, in some cases, their ability to remain in the country legally. One of the central problems here is that the system already operates with tight restrictions. Applicants are only allowed to file for EAD renewal up to 180 days before the expiration date of their current work permit. But USCIS processing times in many jurisdictions exceed 6 months, and some applicants face waits stretching far beyond that window. When the processing time surpasses the renewal window, workers can be left in limbo. Without a valid EAD in hand, they're legally barred from working, even if they've lived and contributed to the United States for years. The consequences, honestly, can be financially devastating. This situation could, quickly grow more complex for American employers as well. Businesses that rely on high-skilled immigrant workers may face project disruption, staffing shortages, or unexpected compliance challenges as employees wait for renewed authorization. Companies that sponsor foreign nationals already navigate strict regulations including mandatory filing fees, documentation requirements, and verification procedures. With shorter EAD validity, the administrative workload will increase significantly. Employers may need to allocate more resources to immigration compliance, legal consultations, and staff planning just to avoid sudden gaps in productivity. Technology firms, medical institutions, research organizations, and large corporations across various industries may experience some of the earliest effects. In many cases, key positions are filled by individuals transitioning from temporary work visas to permanent residency. If these employees lose work authorization due to renewal delays, entire projects could be delayed or halted. This means companies will need to forecast employment authorization document expiration dates far more aggressively and initiate renewal filings months in advance, really in the hope of avoiding costly interruptions beyond the workplace. This change affects families in deeply personal ways. Shorter work permit validity creates uncertainty for parents trying to maintain financial security, younger immigrants building new careers, and individuals who have lived in the United States for years under legal status, but have no clear timeline for permanent residency. For many immigrants, employment authorization documents represent more than just permission to work. They symbolize stability, dignity, and the ability to build a life in the country they now call home. Cutting validity from 5 years to 18 months forces these individuals back into a constant cycle of waiting, filing, and worrying. Legal experts note that this trend follows a broader pattern in United States immigration policy, where the administration has prioritized increased vetting, expanded scrutiny, and accelerated efforts to identify fraudulent or high-risk applicants. While security remains a top priority for every administration, critics argue that these changes disproportionately impact individuals who have complied with every requirement, paid every fee, and followed every legal step in the immigration process. For Indian nationals stuck in the decades-long employment-based green card backlog, this policy adds yet another hurdle. Many have already been living in the shadow of delays caused by numerical caps, per-country limits, and high demand. Now, even maintaining work authorization will require more frequent renewals, creating more uncertainty for families planning their future in America. Despite these concerns, USCIS maintains that the new policy is both necessary and appropriate. The agency continues to emphasize that national security, identity verification, and fraud prevention require updated procedures and more frequent reviews. As immigration enforcement becomes increasingly central to national political debates, policies like these are expected to continue shaping the landscape for millions of foreign nationals who live, work, and contribute to the United States as the country adjusts to this major shift. Immigrant communities, employers, and legal experts will be watching closely to see how processing times evolve, how the new Atlanta screening unit operates, and whether this policy leads to further changes in immigration procedures. For now, applicants are urged to track expiration dates carefully, plan renewals early, and consult qualified attorneys to avoid lapses in employment authorization. This is USA State bringing you the facts that matter. If you want fast, accurate, and professional coverage of every major immigration update affecting your family, your future, and your status in America, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We'll continue to monitor every development as it unfolds. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay connected with U.S. Immigration Hub.